back to the Weekly Comet. I'm Tamara Conniff, your co-host. My fearless other half, Jonathan Mchugh, is off to New York, but he has sent us some updates on the Katy Perry premiere of her new film, which happened this week. And in the studio, we have director and designer Nick Eagan, who's worked with everyone from Oasis, Bon Jovi, Kylie Minogue, The Clash, my personal favorite. So he's going to be sitting with us, which I'm super excited about. And we have electro pop band Downtown, whose new EP, Cowboys, was released on June 26th. I've been a fan of theirs since they started. I'm going to kick it over to them. Take it away, guys.
Thank you.
Just who do you take me for? The way we used to sing before. You lost me to explore. It burns me to my core. You're tearing down my door. I keep on coming back from
We will have more from downtown later in the show, but now it is time for the Comet News. Yes, it's true. Justin Bieber has the #1 album in the country. Believe debuted at #1 on the Billboard chart on only 370,000 copies sold. Yes, that is the state of the music business. But congratulations to Justin Bieber for having yet another #1. Plus, he scored another top 10 debut on the Ultimate chart with As Long As You Love Me coming in at #5. It is Bieber's world. We just live in it. This was a very cool week for me. I got to attend a private Spotify event that basically launched a whole new thing that they're doing, which is artist apps. And they've launched apps around Quincy Jones that's really going to showcase all the artists he's worked with over the course of his career, including Michael Jackson. Disturbed, which is really going to talk about heavy metal and all the bands that Disturbed loves. Tiesto, obviously, you know, one of the biggest DJs, producers in the world, is going to have a whole electronic dance music channel. And it's super interesting, and this is really a way to connect with your artist and the music they love. The event also featured Bruno Mars actually interviewing Quincy Jones, which is pretty interesting. When we get video of that, we'll be sure to post it on our homepage. Also today, at the end of the show, we will be announcing the winner of our Smashing Pumpkins giveaway. So stay tuned. And, you know, since my co-host couldn't be here with me, he did, you know, give us a little insight into what actually happened at the Katy Perry premiere. So here's Jonathan Mchugh.
And it's Jonathan Mchugh from the Weekly Comet, and this is Maureen Crow, President of the Music Supervisor Guild. We're here at the Katy Perry premiere, and I can't be on the show tonight because, you know, I've got big people like this to hang out with. We've got a lot of stars. So the movie's coming up. We'll report back later.
Hi, my name is Randy Spedlove. I'm president of Motion Picture Music for Paramount Pictures, and intimately involved in the production of the Katy Perry movie.
And how did you feel? How do you feel on premiere night?
Oh, great. The fact that the movie came together in as short a time as it did, there was actually 4 months from idea when Katy came to us and said, "Can you put the movie together?" 4 months from when that started to the release date, which is this weekend.
And how long was it for the Justin Bieber movie? How much quicker was it?
It was a little faster than Justin Bieber. Justin Bieber was about 6 months from idea to release date. Katy was about 4 months, so it was a little bit faster track.
And how is the movie projected to do box office wise?
I think the movie's going to do great. We're going to know 4th of July weekend. We're another week out, but it's a great movie to go see for daughters and moms, and a chance, and families as well. It's a chance for people to see other things than just action movies.
Here's Katy Perry's grandmother, one of the stars of the film.
Real star of the show.
So, how did you like the film?
I loved it
Why?
because I feel like I got to know Katy Perry better.
What, you got to know Katy Perry better?
Yeah.
And what do you think of her story?
I think it's inspiring for all people who grow up in all different environments.
What does it prove?
It proves that you can do anything, no matter where you are.
Hey, it's Jonathan Mchugh. We're back after the premiere of Katy Perry, Part of Me in 3D, directed by Dan and Jane from Magical Elves, produced by Paramount Pictures and AEG, direct management. Great film, opens July 5th all over the country. Inspirational story. The girl came up from her Christian music to be one of the biggest world international pop stars with 5 #1 records from the same album. She had some tragic story with her relationship with Russell Brand. She's all good now. So, on behalf of the Weekly Comet, live from the red carpet at the Man's Chinese Theater, Jonathan Mchugh saying, "Love you, Tamara Conniff." Back to you.
Thank you, Mr. Mchugh. Katy Perry has said that after this movie premiere, she is taking a long vacation. I think she deserves it. Next up, we have Nick Eagan, who's going to be sitting with me with Jason Kramer, our KCRW in-house expert. So they're up next. Welcome to the show. This is Nick Eagan and Jason Kramer. How are you guys?
Great.
Yeah?
Hey, can I just say it was a brilliant song by Downtown?
Yes, really good, you guys.
Fantastic.
Really, really good. Your shirt matches my lipstick.
Yes.
We totally planned that.
Yes, we did.
We totally planned that.
Except I forgot the sequin shirt.
Jason, you said he was going to wear a kilt.
Well, I was hoping that. Actually, when we sat and talked once, I'm supposed to buy one.
Oh, yes, that's right. We looked it up on eBay, didn't we?
Yes.
But there's no kilt tartan for Kramer.
No, there isn't. It's not the right
you know, again, your body of work is truly amazing.
Thank you.
And you started out, you know, designing album covers and sleeves, and with some of, like, you know, The Clash and Bow Wow Wow and some really, like, seminal artists. How did you get your start in the business?
I got my start because I was at art school in 1976, and it was the explosion in London of the punk rock movement. But previous to that, one of the things that got me intrigued, you know, I'd always been a fan of music, and I still think rock and roll music is the greatest of all art forms. And you know, music is the desire that you get. It's the belief in things. It's the things you stand by politically. It's everything you feel about love. All those things are wrapped up. I don't think there's any other art form that brings you those same feelings. And I was a huge fan of David Bowie, and I still am. I think he's a genius and a genius performer. But you know, this is the last time I was a fan. When I say fan, I actually bought the tickets for the show, and I had a restricted view seat of David Bowie at Wembley. And now I was up in the nosebleed somewhere, and David Bowie was about that big in the distance. And the only time I saw him was when he came to the front of the stage, which happened about 5 times throughout the show. But you know what? I thought it was fantastic. It was a momentous event for me. But as I was leaving, the next thing that happened was I was almost run over by a fleet of limousines, one of which was David Bowie's. And I just remember in the back of my mind thinking, oh, what a great job that would be. Cut to 6 months later, I'm standing in this club no bigger than this room, having gone to see, having a friend of mine suggest we go and see the Sex Pistols. They were playing at a club called Dingwalls, which was cancelled, but then there was this, they were doing what do you call it, anyway, a season at the 100 Club in London. And we went down to see that show, and I'm standing in the audience, and the complete contrast to the David Bowie show, there was the guys just got up out the audience, and it was suddenly, to me, it was like, wow, this is something that I could actually do. They got up and played, they got back down from the audience, they got back into the audience, and it was going from that punk rock, and going from that first experience at Wembley, when I was so removed and so distant, to standing next to people that politically changed the world, was grabbed me in, and everything, energy was just an unbelievable moment in history for me.
And you met Sid Vicious before he was in the band.
I met Sid. Well, I didn't meet Sid Vicious. My friend was at the very same. There was a whole thing going on between Bowie was playing and Roxy Music, or another.
Love Roxy Music, huge
playing, and my friend Pete used to document the audience and take pictures of the audience, which he's got a fantastic collection of audiences back from the 70s. And he happened to meet this guy who was wearing actually something not too dissimilar from you. He had a sequin jacket on, and he was sitting on the floor, and he was very antisocial and very didn't like anything, hated Roxy, hated Bowie. And my friend turned around to him and said, so who do you like? And he said, there's this band called the Sex Pistols. They're the most incredible band. Later turned out this guy was Sid Vicious, before he was in the band. So we got our we earned our wings from the best person you could get in terms of going to see the band. So by coincidence, being at art school and being around at that same time, I just happened to be there. And someone would say, oh, I'll do the artwork. You know, it just was that easy and that simple. And today, when I think about it, I can't imagine. They now have courses in graphic design for album covers and everything. You know, we didn't have anything like that at my art school. And but I had a friend of mine that was at my art school who was one of the early drummers with the Clash, and he went to an art school called Byam Shaw with Paul Seminal from the Clash, and he said to me, "I'll go up and say hi to Paul when the Clash play." So I did, and through that I ended up. Paul said, "Oh, why don't you do the single cover for us?" And
wow,
you know, it was so. Yeah, and I've often thought that I've made a career out of being in the right place at the right time. Yeah, and I guess, have to admit that I have some talent at what I do, but you can't have both. You can't survive without having some kind of talent. But I literally was thrown into this without having a clue what I was doing. I made it all up as I went along.
Now, you did a lot of artwork, and we'll get to the video stuff, but you also did a collaboration with Marc Jacobs.
Yes.
Let's talk about a little of that, as far as fashion is concerned.
Wow, yeah. Well, it actually started because I had the collaboration with Vivienne Westwood and Malcolm McLaren, and I was involved with the very first and the early designs at Vivienne, who's now one of the divas of fashion. I worked very closely and was closely associated with Malcolm McLaren, who was the manager of the Sex Pistols and then the manager of Bow Wow Wow. I became involved with Malcolm through Bow Wow Wow. I did now it's become one of the most famous covers, the parody of the Manet painting of Lunch on the Grass, and it featured Annabella naked, sitting in a park. And that's become a very notorious cover. And through that, my association with Vivienne, who was his partner at the time, led me into this very same situation of not having any experience whatsoever in fashion. Not only did I model for Vivienne, I drove the collection, I designed the invitation,
Wow.
I art-directed the shows both in Olympia and in Paris, and totally went on a vibe. And I have to give the greatest accolade and credit to probably my greatest mentor was Malcolm McLaren, because he didn't give a shit what qualifications you had. He didn't give a shit if you went to art school, if you got a diploma, if you got a degree. If he liked you and you thought you were the right person, you were in there. And he happened to like me, and he put up with me for a long time, and I learned so much through him. That in turn gave me, Malcolm was my calling card to my success, because people don't understand, in England they do, but less and less so, how important Malcolm McLaren was as a person. And any association with Malcolm was almost like being related to the royal family. I mean, it opened up every single door. So when I moved to New York, I met this 16, 17-year-old student from Parsons called Marc Jacobs, who was a huge fan of Malcolm's. And my girlfriend at the time was a good friend of his, and Marc was just all over me to help him launch his first ever label, which was called Sketchbook, and art direct his early shows in New York. To answer your question.
Wow.
So that's how I got involved with Marc, and we had a longish sort of relationship with each other. In fact, I travelled around the country with him when he launched his Sketchbook line, decorating windows in Dallas and in LA, because I lived in San Francisco and in New York. So, and I've always felt that great kindred spirit between clothes, style, David Bowie was one of them, and music. You know, the two of them go together.
And that's when you started with doing videos and...
Yes, videos. Now, videos is an interesting thing, because get this now, fast forward to now, and there's probably more directors than there are talent. and there was a period in the 80s when they were desperate for directors, and they came to me. I was already a successful album cover designer at this point, having worked with from Bow Wow Wow. Then I came to New York. I did a book for John Lennon, and then I had a long-standing relationship with Bob Dylan, where I worked with Bob on his book on Empire Burlesque and Biograph, which is his retrospective record, and through that, one day I had a rep, and she said to me, "You ever thought you'd be interested in doing a music video?" And I said, "No," because to me I didn't think it was ever going to catch on, because album covers were tactile. You could hold them. You had a relationship with an album cover. You didn't have a relationship with a video. You could go to your record collection. You could pull out a gatefold sleeve. You could read it. You could obsess over the sleeve notes. It was just such a wonderfully tactile relationship with the packaging. It sounds perverse, but it was a wonderful thing. You couldn't have that with a video. First of all, you were dictated to when you saw the video. It wasn't your choice. It was shown it to you at a point, and I thought it was the lesser of the art form. But I'd just done, and I've always been very lucky in my firsts, because they've either been very iconic people, like The Clash was one of my first, Bob Dylan, who was an icon already, but my first ever video was for Iggy Pop. So wow. You couldn't have stepped into a better, I did his album cover, blah, 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 and I had a great relationship with Iggy. The only man I can ever tell you that when I asked him a question to think about it, he wore an apron, pinafore, like a lady's, and he used to vacuum the house because he had to think about things. So he would vacuum the house, but he really wanted me to do this video. So I did this video. I had no clue what I was doing. I didn't know the first thing about making film, and the video got a huge rotation on MTV. And then I just thought to myself, wow, this is actually quite another interesting aspect of the arts, and it just sort of coincided with the demise of album covers, because just at that period CDs were coming in, so the art form was getting smaller and smaller, and then I was at the beginning of a revolution of, I think, one of the greatest art revolutions this country has had is in the music video director. You know, there was a point when, you know, I was in Paris doing the Vivienne Westwood collections, as I said, and it felt to me like it must have been in Hollywood in the 30s. It was a fantastic thing to be involved with. We were punks. You know, Rudolf Nureyev was at these things, and you had Izzy Miyake, and you had Yohji Yamamoto, and Yves Saint Laurent, and Karl Lagerfeld, and these incredible designers, but with these punky kids from London, you know, and I was modelling, you know, I wasn't even a model, but the music videos had the same thing to me. Suddenly in the 90s in particular, I remember my video for the Soup Dragons was nominated for Best Alternative Video, but that year it was the Red Hot Chili Peppers, it was Nirvana, and it was Pearl Jam, all in the same category.
Wow.
I didn't win. I think it was the Nirvana video that won. But at that point, it was considered alternative music. But those acts sold something like 12 million. You're talking about Justin Bieber earlier on. We're talking like 12 million albums, more than that. I mean, 12 million albums. It was out of control. My Lowly Little Soup Dragons video sold as many as Justin Bieber sold, 300,000.
So I mean, you worked with PM Dawn at the height of their success. You did a lot of Oasis stuff.
That's right.
Now, this may be a loaded question, but artistically, what was one of your favorite, most creative videos that you could kind of tell us about that you absolutely love? May have not been the most popular, but which one was your...
Well, that's a good question, and I'll answer in a couple of ways on that. My most popular video by default that has nothing to do with me happens to be the Alanis Morissette video I did for You Ought to Know. I hate that video. I hate it. I hate her, actually. but I had a tough relationship with that woman, and you know, and I didn't enjoy it. I enjoyed making it, and it was great for my career, but you know, it wasn't a pleasant experience. But that was put down as one of the most influential videos of all time for female artists. That particular video on Fuse actually did that not too long ago. My favourite. It's easier for me to tell you the artists that I like working with in the video. I would have to say Oasis, without question. I loved working with them. They were the closest band to a punk band. They didn't, no disrespect to our makeup artist Genevieve here, because she's fantastic, but they didn't want makeup, they didn't want styling, they didn't give a fuck, as they'd say. They didn't give a fuck. They took a lot of drugs. They were just off the charts, and I loved them for that. And there was a brilliant story that when I was reshooting the video for Live Forever, I was the guy that, because I was English but I lived in America, that when the Americans wanted the video remade, they came to me, because I knew both aspects of the business in the UK and also in the States. And I did a video for Live Forever, which is probably my greatest video, because I took the idea of Live Forever and I took all these people like Jimi Hendrix, Sid Vicious, Brian Jones, Mark Bolan from T-Rex, all these, and Kurt Cobain from Nirvana, and I brought them back to life, because they're all dead at this point, and I put them on pictures on the back of a wall. It was based off of a movie by Nicholas Rowe called Performance, and I love that video because it gets you in the heart. It's like I said earlier on about music. It gets you, and the images, I think, absolutely were perfect for the song. But there was a funny thing and your friend Sue will, she will understand this completely when I say this. It was for Epic Records, and I won't name names, but they didn't get Oasis. They thought it was an act. They didn't believe they actually took drugs, and they were off the chart. We even had a $300 drug budget for this video. and
was it like what, candles and?
Well, yeah.
Well,
we
like
won't go too far into it, but let's just say that. But when I was shooting, the American record label didn't like the fact that Liam didn't move. It drove them crazy. Blur were popular at the time, and Damon Albarn, who was a great performer, bounced around. They really wanted Kurt to, I mean not Kurt, they really wanted Liam to jump around. And I was like, I said to the guy, you can tell him that. I'm not going to go up and tell him to jump around. And so he goes, oh, and Serrano, you fuck off, get this fucking idiot out of my fucking... was the funniest thing I've ever seen. because he was totally put in his place. But what I thought was great about my editor, who lives here now, Nicholas Wayman Harris, he actually cut to Liam standing there doing nothing, and I thought that was brilliant. I mean, just because that is everything Liam was about. He had that stoic, couldn't give a shit attitude, and I think that's a lot of that is lost. I think that people thought that was theatrics and it was made up, and I think a lot of bands are so desperate to make it now that they Oasis really didn't give a shit, and I love that. But I also love my work with Duran too. You know, I met my wife because of Duran.
Well, unfortunately, we are running out of time. I know we could literally sit here all day, but I did want to just let the audience know that, I mean, we're gonna post a story so you guys know how to find all of Nick's work, and. He obviously went on from being a very, very famous video director and then going on to direct films. So I just want to briefly touch on your current project.
Yeah, so briefly, it's a tough one, but because I go on and on. But there's a man, I've jumped from rock and roll to education. I've got 3 children. And you know, I've taken an active involvement in their education. And education is becoming rock and roll. And there's a man called Sir Ken Robinson, who I thought I'd met everybody to influence me, and this man influenced me in a single moment of meeting. And if you ever get the chance, go to look at Sir Ken Robinson's TED conference speech. If you have children in particular, it's great. And I'm making a rock and roll documentary, and I'm doing it with Kickstarter, who I think are they're just this fantastic new way of bringing people who normally wouldn't have involvement in the arts into the arts, and I think it's
Has it launched? Has your Kickstarter campaign launched?
No, we're just about
Let me know, and I'll make sure that everyone knows how to go. So
because, and you know, obviously you know about Kickstarter.
Well, Amanda Palmer did, you know, $1 million. But want to thank you so much for this, Nick, and I'd love to have you back here.
Thank you
and
so much for coming. Next up, Jason's going to give us his pick of the week, and it is Yuna, and check out her video to live your life.
Or Alanis Morissette, but that's another story.
No, you know.
Yeah, well, you have to invite me back again, I'll tell you.
You do.
Absolutely.
We need more stories. We could sit here all day. So here's the video.
Find your light. Don't hide from what you are, and rise before you fall, and hope for something more. Live if you really want to. Live if you really want to. Live if you really want to. All my life I've been looking for something amazing. It's almost like I've been stargazing. The sky is right above me. We were meant for something bigger than this. Don't ever try to dismiss yourself, 'cause you don't have to. Don't hide from what you are, and rise before you fall, and hope for something more. Live if you really want to. Live if you really want to. Live if you really want to. All my life, my dreams just seem so far away, and now it's like they're here to stay. I hold it close to me. We're meant for something bigger than this. Don't ever try to dismiss yourself, 'cause you don't have to. Find your light. Don't hide from what you are, and rise before you fall, and hope for something more. Live if you really want to. Live if you really want to. Live if you really want to.
Love the video. Jason, good to have you back for your peak of the week.
Thank you so much. That was so fun. Nick is absolutely
amazing. How amazing is Nick?
Oh
my God, I could have talked to him all night.
Next time we'll have him wear a kilt. I guarantee you he'll wear one. Maybe like this, or as he does it like that.
I gotta get the kilt on. Yeah, gotta do that.
So, Spotify.
Yeah.
I want to tell you really fast. We did for the radio station KCRW. We have a brand new app. It's a Music Mine app for Spotify.
Oh wow!
Recently put it up. It's one of about 20 apps that are on there, from things from Domino to Universal and all that.
Cool.
So, and then plus is the Spotify show that they had, or the thing you went to, using Quincy Jones, Bruno Mars. I know they're looking to other artists and doing featurettes on them.
Oh yeah.
Old friend Fink from Finn Greenwald has, Spotify exclusive. So Spotify is amazing to me.
It's amazing, and and I love the KCRW app. So it's super cool.
It's beautiful. I'm just waiting for my own list on there. So we'll see
hello.
I know.
Hello.
That's another story, but Yuna, absolutely love Yuna. She has a brand new album out. It's a self-titled album called Yuna. She's on tour right now with David Gray. She is one of the top singers in Malaysia right now. Unbelievable. Some of her stuff that she does. My favorite song is called Lullabies, which was produced by Chris Blade, and he has about 3 or 4 songs on there that he produced. And I just think she's one of the most amazing artists I've seen.
And we may be able to get her on the show, because I was going back and forth talking to her people today.
At Fader label.
Yes, Fader. So I talked to Fader today, and they're totally into it. So when she's not on tour with David Gray, she might be here.
That's it. And let's see, Jimmy Cliff last night.
Hey, that must have been amazing.
Unbelievable. Jimmy is one of the most brilliant artists I've seen live in a long time. He's got a brand new album coming out next month. It's called Rebirth. It's about him as a musician, the rebirth of him as a musician, rebirth of him as a person, and also the rebirth of a world. And he truly believes, as an artist, and I do as well, that this is his time. He is here as a musician, and he wants to fill it and let people know, how great he really is.
That's amazing.
And he played for 2 straight hours. I had 5 encores.
Wow.
Ended with Harder They Come. Did a little skit like he does from the movie, and a sold-out show, and that was at the Troubadour.
Incredible.
Also, another artist I really dig is 18-year-old Jake Bugg from the UK. He has, as we can see right here, this kid is amazing, real smart, very prolific in his vocals. Does a lot of more in the lines of older blues, I would say. And I really like what they're going with this. This is a Universal artist, and one of my favorite songs is called Lightning Bolt. And we hopefully great stuff from Jake. So
fantastic.
And you got anything, or?
The week was literally like the Spotify event and just trying to stay out of trouble.
Good.
For a change.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it.
And John is out.
And John doing
with
Katy Perry, and I love you talking about new artists.
Oh, that's what we do here.
We're going to start doing this like every week, not just do the pick of the week,
Absolutely.
but really kind of build it out, and I'm going to go check out all those artists. So thank you so much, and thank you for bringing Nick on.
Absolutely.
That was Jason's idea. So bravo to Nick! Yay!
And as a self-plug, I'm actually going to be at Satellite for the band Terraplane Sun. I'm going to be emceeing for 5 straight weeks over there on Monday nights. So
check it out. Okay, I will also post that on the Comet homepage.
There will be some ringers coming out there, so
nice.
We'll see how that shows.
Maybe you'll give me the inside scoop.
Maybe so.
Well, thank you.
All right.
We're going to have Downtown joining us, but first watch their video, Hungry Hearts, off their new EP, Cowboy.
Waiting for to come home. Heartbreaks every now and then.
am sitting here with Downtown. Welcome to the show, you guys.
Thank you.
I can honestly tell you I'm such a fan. Again, I think I heard like maybe like a mixtape or something like a long time ago and was just, these guys are amazing. So congratulations on your new EP, Cowboys.
Thank you.
But first I want to talk a little bit about the story of how you met. I've heard rumblings about drives between LA and San Francisco and demos recorded into iPhones. So tell us a little bit about how you guys came together and started making music.
Well, we've known each other for probably 6 years or so now. I used to date Robert's brother for a long time. So Robert used to live in San Francisco. His brother lived in San Francisco for a while. So we would make drives back and forth. And I begged him to write music with me. I was really awful at singing and really terrible at...
Not true.
Well, I don't know.
I mean, come on. Awful at singing? Really?
This was a long time ago. I was kind of more singing like rock music, and it wasn't at all what I wanted to do. So Robert helped me find a better singing voice and better style, and we started writing together. And we always record random little voice notes on the iPod.
How did your brother feel about that?
He paid him $50 to write a song with me.
Really?
He didn't really, but he tricked me and told me that he did that.
That's funny.
It wouldn't have surprised me.
But he's fine with everything. He made our last video, which was great, and he's a good friend.
So Heartbreak kind of brought you guys together, and a lot of your songs are about that too.
Yeah, a lot of the songs are about his brother. What's up, Charlie?
That's awesome. You know, you got to write what you know.
Yeah, exactly.
So you guys were traveling back and forth, and you were recording into basically your iPhone,
Yeah,
right?
well, melody is probably the trump card for us, so we always record little melodies and things into my iPhone, and then go back later when we're trying to write songs and remember what we have that we liked, and find some really weird, terrible ones, but they're fun.
Yeah, you got to have the terrible ones to find the good ones, right?
Exactly.
So tell us a little bit about the Cowboy EP, sort of what was is this stuff that you've been writing for a while? Is it like, how did it come together?
Well, it's a 2-part EP called Cowboys and Indians. Ooh. So the first one's just Cowboys, and the second one Indians. And a couple of the songs are kind of older, and 2 brand new songs.
Yeah. The single Alamo Square, we finished like the day before it had to be released, kind of thing. So that's
rewrote
brand new.
The whole song a day before.
Yeah, we changed everything. We like to do that a lot.
This sucks. Rewrite it. There you go.
Yeah.
And then when is Indians coming out?
That should be later this summer, I think in August. I don't know if there's a specific date yet. But
And have you gone through certain themes, outside of obvious Cowboys and Indians, but sort of like what one EP's about and then what the second EP's about? So like a story, sort of?
Not really. It should be. That would be really make a better story for right now. But
I love Cowboys and Indians.
We just like the idea of doing, being able to release something in 2 parts instead of giving people who haven't heard us yet just all these songs at once, to kind of give you a taste here and then now in a couple months another one.
Right.
So we thought Cowboys and Indians kind of fit our persona a little bit, and it was fun to do the photo shoot for that and dress up all old school.
That's really, really cool. And so what does the rest of the year look like for you guys?
Well, we're playing shows. We've got a show July 16th at the Bootleg, and then we're doing Pop Shop. It's Neon Gold's party they do in New York. They're bringing it to LA.
Oh, very cool.
So we're doing that August 27th with Wildcat. So that'll be fun. So we're actually going to be in LA and working on music for the EP and staying put for a while, which is good.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, I will be sure to post on the Weekly Comet homepage all the information and how to get to your website and how to find you guys when you guys are playing.
And our EP's free. You can get it for free.
And get the EP. It's amazing. Will you guys play another song for us?
Yeah, we'd love to. We'll play Believe Me, which is the second track off the EP. The one we played before was See My Eyes.
See My Eyes was the first song, and now you guys are going to play Believe Me.
And how good is Jared on drums?
Yeah,
Jared,
homie. Woo!
Jared on drums. Bravo. You can just leave the mic. Thank you. So now I know this is what everyone's been waiting for. Yes, we have a winner for the Smashing Pumpkins contest. We are giving away a copy of Oceana. And the winner is Gem X Forever, who submitted via Twitter. Gem X, we will be contacting you, and we will get you the soundtrack, and congratulations. Yay. You guys ready over there?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
Oh, I love that reverb.
Ooh, I like the echo. Okay, back to downtown. Thank you so much, you guys. Downtown, everyone, thank you for tuning in. And we will see you next time. Oh, I got the echo. Whoa. We will see you next time on the Weekly Comet. Good night. All right, guys.